So, hi everyone. Today I wanted to read a little bit from chapter 21, Reason and Perception of Our Course in Miracles. And in particular, I wanted to read the Forgotten Song. And for those of you who are familiar with the Forgotten Song in Our Course in Miracles, it's one of the most beautiful sections in this entire book, right? A Course in Miracles has some tough sections where you're just being confronted with your own denial, and you have to take a good look at what you're doing in your mind. And then you have these sections, which just are so gorgeous, right? And if I can just read it without getting emotional, that's already quite a feat. So bear with me on this one. But chapter 21, Reason and Perception, is so beautiful because really you're being asked to use reason in this, right? The Course in Miracles is reasonable, right? It makes perfect sense, seen from a proper perspective. The way he starts in this chapter, he says, "Projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it, nothing more than that. But though it is no more than that, it is not less. Therefore, to you it is important. It is the witness," listen to this, "it is the witness to your state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition." What he basically is saying is the world you see is a projection of your own mind, right? Whatever you see, that's your state of mind. Well, most of us will agree that this world is not particularly a pretty picture, right? Therefore, that's a reflection of my mind, right? And it always will be that, right? And when I apply forgiveness, right? When I allow the change through the miracle that takes about in my mind, right, to occur, the world will change as well because it has to. Because again, it's an outward projection of an inward condition, right? If you find the love and the peace and the joy of God within you, the world will change. It cannot not, because again, it's an effect, it's not a cause, right? It's an effect of your mind, right? So it always starts here, doesn't it? It always starts inward. "As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Perception is a result and not a cause." And that is why order in difficulty in miracles is meaningless. Why? Because they're all equally powerful, right? One illusion is not less or more powerful than another illusion. All they need is correction. All they need is truth. All they need is the miracle, right? Order of difficulties in miracles is meaningless because an illusion is an illusion is an illusion, right? One illusion is not harder to correct than another. Why? Because they're not true. Truth corrects them all equally, right? I love that. What an amazing idea. So it's beautiful. Damnation is your judgment on yourself, and this you will project upon the world. See it as damned, and all you'll see is what you did to hurt the Son of God, right? But then also, when you change your mind, right? When you accept yourself as God created you, from you will emanate that truth, that light, and it will literally be projected onto the world as well, right? You can literally see the love of God in the world because it's in your mind, right? Again, it's an outward projection of an inward condition. I love that. The Forgotten Song is the first section, and he says, "Never forget the world the cyclists see must be imagined, for what it really looks like is unknown to them." Love that. Like what you basically see is you're blind, deaf, and dumb. You don't see anything the way it is, right? "They must infer what could be seen from evidence forever indirect, and reconstruct the inferences as they stumble and fall because of what they did not recognize, and walk unharmed through open doorways that they thought were closed." I love that. "And so it is with you. You do not see. Your cues for inference are wrong, and so you stumble and fall down upon the stones you did not recognize, but you fail to be aware that you can go through the doors you thought were closed, but which stand open before unseeing eyes waiting to welcome you." That is so beautiful. He says, no, nothing is the way you think it is, right? The reason why you're constantly hurting yourself is because you do not see. You do not see what things are really like, right? And so you get hurt again, and you get hurt again, and you fail, and you fail. In the meantime, right, you could just walk out in the sunlight and just be in the joy and the peace of God right here, right now, right? The door is open. The prison door is open, right? You're only enslaving yourself. You're imprisoning yourself, right? You can just walk out, accept the peace of God, be done with this, and go like, for the moment that I'm still here, apparently, in this objective reality, right? I'm in the peace of God. I'm going to fulfill my function, and God will take the final step. But until that point, right, you'll be disappointed again. You'll hurt again. You'll suffer. You'll do all the things because you don't see, right? But once you see things as they truly are, right? Once you're no longer fooled by any of this, once you're accepted forgiveness and applied it to the world because it is your world, right? That's when things change. That's when it starts reflecting the light and the love of God. That's when everything and everyone becomes an opportunity for forgiveness, an opportunity to remember, right? The two worlds don't meet. They don't. You either see the one or you see the other, but you can't see both, right? Love it. That's the process of transformation, right? Gorgeous. What a gorgeous lesson. All right, it's not a lesson, it's a text, right? But still. And then he's a little further, he says, there is no need to learn through pain. Let that sink in for a moment. The way I read A Course in Miracles is, I let these lines sink in for a moment. Let them find a place among my thoughts, right? Let it reverberate, right? For a moment. Because this thought system is in every aspect the opposite of the thinking of the world. And I want this to be mine, not the thinking of the world. There is no need to learn through pain. And gentle lessons are acquired joyously and are remembered gladly. This is true. You don't learn through pain. Well, you can, but you don't need to. And certainly it's a whole lot easier to be a happy learner. And that's a lot easier, and you probably learn it a lot quicker that way. What gives you happiness? Here it is. What gives you happiness, you want to learn and not forget. That's it. When the reason why I teach this, the reason why I practice this, and why I intend to learn this is because it makes me happy. These to me are happy thoughts, and I want happy thoughts, but I also want them to be true. But happy thoughts and true thoughts are the same thing. Love it. It is not this you would deny. Your question is whether the means by which this course is learned will bring you the joy it promises, right? If you believed it would, the learning of it would be no problem. You are not a happy learner yet because you still remain uncertain that vision gives you more than judgment does. And you have learned that both you cannot have. Stop judging, right? You think you know anything, and basically what he says is you don't know anything. You're blind, deaf, and dumb, and you stumble, you fall, you hurt yourself, but you can, right here, right now, see through vision what truly is there, but you do it by stop judging, right? Admit that you don't know anything. Step back and let him lead the way, right? That idea. I love it. The blind become accustomed to their world. They do. Everyone here think they fit here. They know what this is. They become accustomed to. You become accustomed to suffering. That's just the way it is. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Right? The blind become accustomed to their world by their judgments to it. They think they know the way about in it. They learned it not through joyous lessons, but through the stern necessity of limits they believed they could not overcome. Beautiful. And still believing this, they hold those lessons dear and cling to them because they cannot see. They do not understand the lessons keep them blind. This they do not believe. Okay? And so they keep the world they learn to see in their imagination, believing that their choice is that or nothing. They hate the world, and they learn through pain. And everything they think is in it serves to remind them that they're incomplete and bitterly deprived. That is the human condition, right? Well, so be it. This is it. Let's just make the best of it. I know I'm going to have a lot of pain and a lot of disappointment, but there will be some joys as well. What a really poor condition to be in, right? What an utterly ridiculous condition for the Son of God. That's not it at all, right? And then he comes to the most beautiful section. I'm skipping some sections in this. I'll let you read this yourself. Just beautiful. And I'm not going to read the whole Forgotten Song, I think. I'll let you read that yourself as well. Again, to me, this is the most spectacularly beautiful section in the entire Course in Miracles. And I always get emotional when I read this, so I'll try to keep myself together, but this is beautiful. Because truly, this talks about a memory, an out-of-time memory, right? How is it that you're able to hear this and someone else isn't, right? Because somewhere in you there's a memory. Everyone has that memory, but in you it has sufficiently come to the surface that you do remember. Maybe not the entire memory, but you do remember. At some point in time, everyone will remember, right? Because finally this is over. But this is the time you remembered. And remember, time doesn't pass. Time doesn't mean anything. This is the time you heard it. This is the time how you woke up, right? Love it. Listen. Perhaps you catch a hint of an ancient state not quite forgotten. Dim, perhaps, and yet not altogether unfamiliar. Like a song whose name is long forgotten, and the circumstances in which you heard it completely unremembered. Not the whole song has stayed with you, but just a little wisp of melody, attached not to a person or a place or anything particular, but you remember from just this little part how lovely was the song, how wonderful the setting where you heard it, and how you loved those who were there and listened with you. The reason I get emotional when I read this is because I remember. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know why I remember. I remember. Something in me remembers. And that's why I get emotional. I remember before time was and after time is over. I remember out of time. I remember being there. I remember my home. I might not remember it 100%, but I remember. This is why I get emotional. That's what I want. I want what's beyond here. I want my home. I want to remember my father. Right? That's what this is talking about. So beautiful. The notes are nothing. Yet you've kept them with you, not for themselves, but as a soft reminder of what would make you weep if you remembered how dear it was for you. You could remember, yet you are afraid, believing you would lose the world you learned since then. Amazing, amazing. And yet you know that nothing in the world you learned is half so dear as this. You learned the world, right? You learned all this. You taught yourself all this, and none of it is true. Listen, and see if you remember an ancient song you knew so long ago and held more dear than any melody you taught yourself to cherish since. Beyond the body, beyond the sun and stars, past everything you see and yet somehow familiar, is an arc of golden light that stretches as you look into a great and shining circle. And all the circle fills with light before your eyes. The edges of the circle disappear, and what is in it is no longer contained at all. The light expands and covers everything, extending to infinity forever, shining, and with no break or limit anywhere. Within it, everything is joined in perfect continuity. Nor is it possible to imagine that anything could be outside, for there is nowhere that this light is not. Beautiful. This is the vision of the Son of God whom you know well. Here is the sight of him who knows his Father. Here is the memory of you, of what you are, a part of this, with all of it within, and joined to all as surely as all is joined in you. Accept the vision that can show you this and not the body. You know the ancient song and know it well. Nothing will ever be as dear to you as is this ancient hymn of love the Son of God sings to his Father still. Beautiful. There's one more paragraph, but I'm going to let you read that yourself. The beauty of that, the beauty of remembering, right? It doesn't matter how much you remember. If you are practicing A Course in the Miracles, something in you remembers. You don't have to know what it is. Something in you remembers and remembers you perfectly well, knows you perfectly well, and all you have to do is join with that, right? Do these lessons, practice, right? Don't judge, let it all go, right? Come with holy empty hands unto God, right? Let go and let God, right? Let go of all the fear and enter into the love that's all around you. Beautiful. The Forgotten Song just speaks to me. And it speaks to me because of that memory. I have it. I know I have it, right? And all of us have it. But you can either remember or not, right? Some of us remember it very strongly. Some of us remember it faintly. It doesn't matter. Some of us don't remember it at all. It'll be another moment before you remember. But you will and did, right? Time is not linear. So I just wanted to share that with you today. The Forgotten Song, chapter 21. Read that. Read the entire chapter. Might as well. Huh? Reason and perception. Just spectacular. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm glad you were here. Have a great, great day. Wherever, whenever you are. And I'll see you real soon.